Today the main town on Kappadar is Erdek, called in the ancient world Artasi. A civic welcome is prepared on a lavish scale. Everywhere she goes, Argo is an event.
Let's clear the water! Thank you very much, Dennis. Very good. Nice to meet you. How do you do? Can be introduced to the VIPs. This is the Governor. This is Nick Hollis. This is Captain of the Naval Base and the Mayor. Tim Redmond.
As archaeological expeditions go, Argo's voyage is providing an excuse for a remarkable number of street parties. Welcoming Greek folk dances on harbour walls have given way to Turkish ones, which in turn, as the ship sails from welcome to welcome, will be replaced by Georgian dances in the ancient home of the Golden Fleece. But here, close to the ruined city of Cyzicus, in a place which once was Greek, the name of Argo is a particularly honoured one. She's still almost a local ship. King Cyzicus gave Jason sheep and wine and a great banquet. Tonight another feast is laid out. Tim Severin talks local history, the crew evaluate the local wine.
Do you make any more pictures of the very old ruins?
No, Troy, just Troy. Yeah.
Then I think here maybe you like it. You may like to see this one.
This one on the cup, the cave was.
That was 300 or 400 years before as well. Yeah.
Sure. When he went to look for his boyfriend, he got lost a little bit.
Jason poured libations all over the water.
He got lost.
Tim, you married? Açtır.
The Greeks who lived here moved out in the 1920s during a population exchange with the Turks. Tradition is confused by such political movements, but by a curious stroke of luck at the start of the voyage, while the ship was being built, Tim Severin had picked up a clue to the spot where the Argonauts were supposed to have left their smaller anchor stone as a gesture of thanksgiving. Now the former governor and historian of Kappadar, Reşit Ertüzün, may be able to confirm the story.
Can you explain that when we were coming with Argo, in Greece, by an extraordinary coincidence, I met an old man who was born here in Erdek in 1893 and lived here until 1922. And he told me that when the Greeks were living here, there was a spring they called Jason's Spring. and I would recognize it by a large tree, a platane tree, which was by the spring.
Hala var.
Yes, he knows
Büyük bir
about
çınar
that.
ağacı var.
He knows the tree.
Çok yaşlı bir ağaç.
It's a very old tree and it is still there.
Yeah.
Benim söylediğim gibi bu benim için çok enteresan. Çünkü benim inancıma göre de Argonautların taş çıpalarının bıraktığı çeşme Palata Çeşmesi olması lazım gelir. İsterseniz bu kısmını söyleyin de.
It's very interesting for me as well because according to me, I was thinking that this spring was the spring of Yason, where Argonauts left their anchor stone there.
The spring lies half a mile from Erdek. Now, as in the ancient world, it's a meeting place and a valuable source of clean water. Further up the hill is another magic place, a grove of venerable trees left untouched in the middle of cultivated land. One tree is a wishing tree. People still come and circle the trunk 3 times. Then they crawl through the hole in the tree to make a wish. And they leave tokens, strips of torn clothing or small images among the branches. This particular tree is used by childless couples to wish for babies.
Can he explain which mountain on the peninsula he believes is Mount Didymon?
Bu harita üzerinde Dede Bayırı olarak işaretlenen yer Dindim'in tepesidir.
This is the called Dede Bayır on this map. Is
Yes.
Dindymon Mountain.
Yes. From this mountain, can you see, as the Argonaut story says, you can see towards the Bosphorus, back towards Dardanelles, and over to Thrace, because this is what, when the Argonauts climbed the mountain, they could look in the 3 directions.
Sure.
Aynı şeyi görüyoruz.
Sure, you can see.
The hunters are very rare.
The writer Apollonius says that the Argonauts climbed towards the top of Mount Dindymon in the hope of seeing for themselves the waters they would have to cross, all the way to the Bosphorus and beyond. Working without compasses or charts, early sailors set great store by landmarks and overviews. Tim Severin, also making this voyage without a compass, is convinced that this is Mount Dindymon and that it will give him his view. Reşit and the local hosts are anxious to confirm the trail of clues, especially after a 3-hour climb.
Yani en iyi görünebilecek yer
This
burası
is the
görünüyor.
best place
The best.
to see the 3.
Kaldı ki zaten çıkarsanız güle güle kardeşim.
I may try it.
When was the last time he came up here?
He didn't come here. He's coming first time.
This is the first time he's come to this
time.
point. Ah, très bien. This, he said, is the only point at which you can see in the 3 directions, towards the Bosphorus, towards the Thracian shore, which is northward, and the way they'd come. Unfortunately today, with the visibility being so thick, so poor, we can't see very much further. We can just see the line of the coast that we followed as we came in. And that obviously is way towards Marmara Island and to the north. And presumably if we just go up there, we can see towards the Bosphorus.
Jason's first shore party never saw this view. They were ambushed by wild men and prevented from getting an understanding of the shape of the peninsula. This led to tragedy. What happened was this. When they set sail again, a gale blew them back and they sheltered on the far side of the peninsula. The Argonauts thought they'd landed on a new island and threw their hawser around a rock called the Sacred Rock. The local tribe, the friendly Doliones, were alarmed, thinking it was a night raiding party. The two groups began to fight confusedly in the darkness, and Jason killed King Cyzicus, his host of the night before. Reşit Ertüzün is convinced that he has found the actual sacred rock around which Jason cast his hawser in the storm. The new Argonauts, a few hours later, are convinced that they have found the actual storm. Tim Severin's Argo, after a nasty time trying to get round the headland, is, like its predecessor, sheltering thankfully in a new cove.
President, how long will this storm last?
I think about 3 days.
3 days.
I looked in my book. It shows that there's a storm about 3 days.
This happens every year?
Yes.
A storm like this?
Yes, regularly.
Yeah.
3rd of June.
June, yeah. I see, yeah.
I think it's early one day
I see, yeah.
for this year.
So we learned today earlier.
Yes.
And we get thunderstorms again tonight?
I hope.
You hope?
No, I don't know, but I think so. You're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
The story of the massacre of the Doliones seems too odd and circumstantial to be just a myth. There are two coves, lying either side of the Kappadar Peninsula. Without a compass or a chart, you might easily think yourself on a new island altogether. And it was a troubled age of tribal wars. Night raiding parties were common enough for any unexpected landing to turn into a battle. When dawn came, says Apollonius, it taught both sides their grievous and irreparable mistake. The king's new bride, Clytie, hanged herself. The nymphs cried so many tears that they formed a stream, Clytie's stream, which still runs through the ruins of the city of Cyzicus. For 12 days there were gales, and then a halcyon bird, a kingfisher, came to tell Jason that the foul weather was passing. He made an offering to the goddess Rhea, and, we're told, the young men in full armour moved round in a high-stepping dance, beating their shields with their swords to drown the ill-omened cries of mourning from the city. The men of the region still do such a dance. Jason's crew left at dawn, and drove the ship, we're told, so fast that not even Poseidon's horses with whirlwind feet could have overtaken her. Tim Severin's crew take it a bit more steadily. They have to row through several nights to reach the Bosphorus on schedule. A lot of them have got jobs to get home to.
Row on board side. Trim ship!
Thanks to a passing patrol boat, a ration of 20th century news is able to reach them.
A lot of papers dating quite a long way back.
Ah, Ersin, you are apparently some sort of a national figure now. So, about 5 days worth of newspapers. Next relief, make ready.
You'll learn all about...
Ersin, a Turkish volunteer, is indeed a national figure. He's a supertanker captain, taking this unlikely busman's holiday as a galley oarsman. And his ship has just become a victim of the Gulf War. 3 of his crew are dead and others injured.
Engineering officer, yeah. We know that, we learned that they are killed. Electrician, and the oiler. Yeah.
After the gales come the enervating calms. The legendary kingdom of Kolkis is still 900 miles ahead. They're not halfway there, and counting every oar stroke. They live for each change of watch, tend their blisters, and rest uncomfortably on the benches.
From my left foot.
So very misty.